Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to discuss doing a color mandala using colored pencils instead of paint. So we'd need our ruler, a piece of printer paper, your pencil, eraser, everything like that. So first off, we're going to fold our paper. We're going to do vertical and horizontal folds, making sure to keep it as even as possible. Then we need to fold into the middle. We're going to fold slightly coming over our edge with a small corner, and then we'll fold our other piece over top of that, almost kind of like a zigzaggy ice cream cone. 1 point, 2 points. They have to come over the edges. Right? Then when we unfold it, you'll see the magic. There it is. All of your pie pieces on this paper should be approximately the same. They may or may not be perfectly equal, but it's going to be as close as we can get. If you feel like you need to do it again, go for it. Now we'll move on to tracing. So I just picked up a lamp from my living room because it's the biggest circle I have that will fit on this paper. And I tangled up the cord so that it doesn't get in the way. I want to try and get them as close as possible, so I'm using my fingers to measure. You can also use the ruler, but if you don't have a ruler, just in case, that's another way you can do it. Right? So I need to nudge it a little bit in that direction. So I'm hoping it's going to be as centered as possible. And then we trace. Make sure to get all the way around. And then there we have our circle with hopefully 12 equal pie pieces without having to use a ruler. Next, we're going to cut it. I'm going to show you 2 ways to cut this. You can try and cut it like this, but you might make a mistake and it's so frustrating. So I found an easier way to do it was to refold it. And I'm trying to make sure that I fold it the same way I folded it the first time. Because I drew my pencil line nice and dark, I can see it through the paper a bit. If you feel like you need it to be a little bit darker, you can go back and trace it again. And then I just cut on that line. And then when I unfold it, it will be a perfect circle. You might have to straighten it out a bit. It's going to want to flop around. Now using a separate piece of paper, you need to trace part of the circle, or 1/4. This will create our pie pieces for our tracing of our design. I'm going to cut it out. Now we've got our 1/4 pie piece, and we need to fold it into thirds so it's perfectly equal. Just do the best you can with this. Sometimes it might be slightly bigger or smaller. We're just trying to get it as approximately close to it as possible. After we've got it, then we can fold that piece in half, and we can copy down our design onto one side. I again would choose simple shapes to make it easier for you to trace. And I'm just going to cut in random designs. I'm going to use maybe triangles, I might use a half circle or a rectangle. It just depends on your own personal taste. I'm going to put a heart in mine, because why not? Love and art. Let's do some more triangles. I might cut off the tip so that it's a little bit more interesting in the center. And I think that's good enough. Then open it back up. And there's my design. And now I've got to trace it 12 times. Try to get it to fit inside each triangle as best you can. If it goes over the outside of the edges or if it goes under a little bit, it's okay. Just make sure all the shapes touch eventually. Here it is done. Now I'm going to label my color wheel following the natural order of the color wheel. I always tend to start with yellow. with blue because it's the easiest one for me. Using my colored pencil, I can color in multiple directions, like cross-hatching. Make sure if you do it one place, do it everywhere so it looks even. For my tint, I just colored very lightly in blue. For my tone, I did very light blue and a touch of black, and for my shade, I did much more black. Now, if we move on to green, we're going to mix 1 part yellow and 1 part blue. I started with yellow because it's a lighter color and I can see it more easy. Then I'm going to come back on top with light pressure, adding blue to try and slowly get it to that green color that I want. The more you layer, the better the colors blend together, so don't be afraid to layer multiple times. As you can see, it's starting to get much more green. And I'm using that yellow more pressured so that it pushes that blue around to get it to blend. Right? Now I go to blue-green. I'm going to start this base with blue because it's blue-green. So the first component is blue, the second part is green. And I'm going very light with my yellow as to not overpower my blue. Come back with blue again. And you start to see it. I might touch up my green, I think it's still a little too yellow. And then come back to my blue-green. It's a learning process. You can do multiple colors at one time. It's a little bit easier than painting. Right, then I'm coming to my yellow-green, which of course will start out mostly yellow, and then I might add a little bit of blue to it to help green it up. Remember to color in multiple directions so you get full coverage. And then I'm finishing off with my yellow so you can see the transition from yellow to blue. And that's how you do a color wheel with colored pencil. Have fun creating!